Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm the City Witch. Today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make your very own salt bowl, and I'm going to show you how I like to make mine, and hopefully it'll inspire you to make one of your own. Before we jump into the video though, I'd just like to take a moment to apologise to you guys for the lack of informative videos. I'm fully aware a lot of my videos lately have been tarot and oracle deck reviews, and most of them have been looking down at a table where you haven't had the opportunity to see much of me, so I'm really sorry guys. The main reason for that is because, as you know, I moved house in September 2020. Right after I moved house, we went into a lockdown here in the UK in November, so that was, I can't remember if it's even our second or third lockdown. It's all blurring into one these days, guys. So we went into yet another lockdown, and that limited us greatly on what we were able to do with the house and how quickly we were able to get things sorted. One of the things we definitely wanted to sort was the annex. So an annex is an outbuilding, and some properties here in the United Kingdom have those, and the one we bought does. And it's actually one of the main reasons we purchased this property was because I could use the annex to be my place of business that was completely separate from the house. So it's secure, it's private, and I can get on with my business uninterrupted or not overlooked by anybody. And should in the future I decide to have clients visiting my space, it has its own separate entrance. So it means nobody has to enter my private home, which is obviously my sanctuary. So there's a number of reasons why we chose this house, but this was one of the main ones. Sadly, when we did buy the house and we finally got the keys and got in, we realised how poor condition the annex was in. It really needed a lot of TLC, so I had to spend a lot of time and energy and money doing it up. So it meant we had to completely rip it out, so that meant all the floors and everything went. We took it back to brickwork, we had it freshly plastered, we had concrete floor installed, brand new electrics and lighting, security system, new doors and windows. Then we had it painted, and then we had a proper floor fitted, which was LVT. When all that was finally done, I then employed a friend of mine who is really good with woodwork to install and hand make all this furniture for me. And actually you can see a little bit in the background here. So this is my French dresser that he made. And as you can see, there's some really interesting patterns on the top beam there on it. That is called pyrography. I hope I'm saying that right. It's not something I'd come across before, and I certainly didn't see him do this, but I believe he sets magnesium on fire on the wood, and it kind of burns these beautiful markings into the wood, and then he treats the wood. So they kind of look like tree roots, or like electricity has travelled through it, so they give these really unusual patterns. So he's done that in various locations around the room on different pieces of furniture as you know, little custom pieces. All of the furniture he's made me, he's used numerology because he's also a magical practitioner, so he's incorporated lots of magical things. He chose the wood for magical purposes as well. All of the wood was positively sourced, and we rescued a lot of it, so he's given it a new lease of life by sanding it down, treating it, and turning it into this beautiful furniture, which obviously it'll be well and truly taken care of and appreciated by me for many years to come. So the space is looking really good, but there's one more piece of furniture that he's just finishing off for me. When that is done, guys, I promise I will film you a full walkthrough of my space, and you'll get an opportunity to see it. But until then, thank you very much for sticking with me and supporting my channel, and I promise there will be better videos on its way out, and this is one of them. So now, let's talk about salt bowls. So, what is a salt bowl? So a salt bowl is exactly what it sounds like. It's a bowl full of salt, guys. And as we know, salt is both cleansing and protective. So not only will it protect your environment, but it'll also absorb all those negative, stale, stagnant, toxic energies you don't want and get rid of it. So it's an amazing tool to have in your craft space, because as witches, we summon in lots and lots of different forces and energies. And sometimes when we're trying to summon in something with good intentions, something negative can come along as well. And I know that we all cleanse and we all do our ritual baths and things, but the salt bowl is an added form of protection that just sits in your room and protects and cleanses naturally without you having to do too much to it. So it's a really nice thing to add to your environment and to have in your space. One of the good ways to use a salt bowl is you can rest some jewellery, some charms and trinkets on it. You can rest some crystals in it and some pendulums, and you can cleanse them at the same time by doing that. And you can choose to have your salt bowl resting in sunlight or moonlight at the same time, which adds in those protective qualities and also will charge the tools as your salt is cleansing off all the negative. If you choose to mix in some herbs, some barks, some flowers and some essential oils into your salt bowl, not only is it removing those toxic energies and protecting your space, but also all those positive ingredients you've mixed into the bowl will imbue your space with positive energies. So for that reason, you can theme your salt bowl in any way you like. Personally, I like to theme mine seasonally, so I'll have a spring bowl and then I'll go from spring into summer, summer to autumn, and then autumn to winter, and then finally winter to spring. At the moment when I'm filming this video, it's currently February, so I will be making my salt bowl ready for spring, because we're just coming out of winter and about to go into springtime. Now, because I do mine seasonally, that means I only change my salt bowl every 3 to 4 months, so I don't interact with it too often unless I'm resting jewellery or crystals or pendulums in it, cleansing them in between magical practices throughout those 4 months. But like I said, you can theme your bowl in any way you like. So you could choose to theme it for protection, and you could choose to change it every month if you wanted. You could change it every week or every day. It's completely up to you. But your bowl will generally last a good, 4 to 5 months before you'll need to change it. If you do notice the salt in your bowl becomes quite clumpy or wet, damp, starts to stick together, that is a good sign that it needs changing and that something negative, really negative, has interacted with it. And of course the salt has done its job and protected you and absorbed it, but in doing so it's become quite clumpy and it's losing its protective cleansing qualities because it's all been used up on dealing with whatever that thing was that came into contact with it. So I would recommend at that point, if you notice your salt behaving that way, that you cleanse it, refresh it, and of course put in some new salt and make up a new herbal blend. Now, you don't have to put herbs or ingredients into your bowl. It's completely up to you. You could just have a bowl of salt. But if you want to, jazz it up, make it look pretty, add some extra qualities in, then I do recommend mixing in some beautiful ingredients. Now, in the description of this video, I will be putting in different options for all the different seasonal bowls that you can consider making, and I probably will make a video for each seasonal bowl that I do as the year goes on, just so you can see how I do mine. As I say, you can theme these around certain intentions, so protection, love, peace, tranquility, even ones for grounding. It's completely up to you. Now, where would you put your bowls? Now, you can put the bowls anywhere you like in your home. As I say, I always have one in my magical space because that is where I'm pulling in the most energies and interacting with the most vibrations. However, some of the other ideas you can have is you can put them in any room in the house. You could put them in the busiest room of the house, so the living room or the kitchen are usually prime areas. If you are in a toxic relationship right now, or perhaps your relationship isn't doing particularly well, you can make a love ball and pop it in the bedroom, which is obviously the seat of love. If you are somebody that suffers with anxiety, stress, and particularly at the moment while we've been going through all the pandemic, if you've been a key worker and you're having to go out and about, I know that a lot of key workers have been struggling with general members of the public being polite and courteous to them and respectful, and they've been experiencing some really negative people, and then they have to come home and let all that energy out. So a good thing you could try is having a salt bowl near the front door of your home, and when you step in, place your fingers into the bowl and allow the salt to cleanse off all that negative energy, but also offer you grounding as well, because salt is very grounding, guys, because it's connected to the earth, so you can ground off those negative energies. It will help you feel less anxious, and it will offer balancing, tranquil energies to your aura. So that is one of my favourite ways to use the salt bowl, is to have it near the front door. And if I've had a particularly bad day or encountered anyone negative in general, I'll rest my fingers in the bowl for a couple of seconds and just let it all out, and then it instantly makes me feel loads better. So before I move on to talking to you about the different types of salts, I just want to mention one last thing. There are many of us out there that have a salt lamp, and you might be thinking, well, doesn't the salt lamp do exactly the same thing as a salt bowl? And you're absolutely right, it does. A salt lamp will offer protective, cleansing qualities to any environment that it rests in, and you can choose to have a salt lamp if you choose. But obviously that can be a little bit limiting. You could put essential oils on it, and as you turn the lamp on, it will naturally fragrance the room and imbue it with all these positive energies from the essential oil. But it's going to be a little bit limiting when it comes to adding things like other crystals or any herbal blends around it. Depending on the size of your lamp and the location in your home, it just might not be possible, guys. But another thing you might not have thought of is salt lamps in particular can be quite dangerous for pets. Now, it's something that's only been mentioned once or twice in other videos that I've noticed, but it's something that comes up a lot for me when I see TikTok videos. You see lots of cats and dogs licking salt lamps, and straight away I think, okay, you're filming that like it's funny, but that's actually quite dangerous. Animals don't have the intelligence to know when they are having too much of something. And, you know, dogs in particular, you know, if you dropped a piece of food on the ground, no matter what it is, they're probably going to go for it because it's food. And they obviously want things that we know is really bad for them, such as chocolate and things like that. Well, salt lamps, as we know, sweat and bleed this kind of sticky substance that contains heavy amounts of salt. And in particular, it will do that if it's in direct sunlight or in a damp, wet environment. So you're supposed to keep your salt lamp out of direct sunlight, in a location of the house that's fairly warm, and you're supposed to have it on a regular basis to limit its sweating. However, it will still produce salt no matter where you have it in your home, and because of that, animals are quite drawn to it because, you know, as we all know, they like to lick our skin, and the reason for that is because our skin produces salt and they like that salty kind of flavour, so they will lick our skin to take the salt off our skin. They will do the same thing with a salt lamp, and when I'm seeing all these videos online of people on TikTok, you know, filming their animals thinking it's funny because they're licking the lamp, all I can think about is, okay, well, stop them, because they're not smart enough to know when they've had too much of a good thing, and it will make them poorly. So because of that reason, pet owners are being warned by vets and animal experts not to have salt lamps in their home, or if they do, not to let their animals near it, or to have it in such a location that your pet cannot access it, because they don't necessarily know that they're having too much salt in their body, and it can be very toxic and create problems and make them very poorly, which isn't something you want. Another thing as well is obviously salt lamps can be accessible to children, and very young children, you know, particularly toddlers, also might not be aware that they shouldn't lick or kiss or touch the lamp, and in doing so also will get that salty texture inside their mouths, and, you know, of course that's also very dangerous and also not very sanitary. So for that reason, people with young children and pets are choosing actively not to have a salt lamp. So if you do have a pet and you're now thinking, oh, hang on a minute, she's got a very good point here, a salt bowl is a very, very good alternative. You can have it, as I say, any size you like and in any location in the house. So you have control about where to place it, meaning you can keep it well out of reach of young children and pets and still have the benefit of all of those lovely cleansing protective qualities that the salt bowl offers. So it's just another thought, guys, that I thought I'd add into this video before I move on. So now I'm going to talk to you about the different salts you can consider putting in your bowl, and talk to you about the different qualities and properties those salts have, so you can make the best choice for you. Now, you can use any salt that you like, and all salt is cleansing and protective no matter what type it is, but certain types of salt have other extra qualities that you might want to incorporate in your bowl. So the first salt we're going to talk about is called rock salt. Rock salt is usually quite thick and chunky pieces of salt, usually ranging from full, thick, dark white all the way to quite clear pieces, but they are usually quite chunky pieces of salt. Rock salt is really good for returning negative energy to its source. So if someone's actively worked against you, so for those magical practitioners out there worried about other witches doing, you know, the dirty on them, then this type of salt is really good for deflecting and getting rid of that negative energy and returning it back to wherever it came from. So if you have had somebody work some negative magic against you, this will help deflect that away. Now, as a disclaimer, all salt, as I say, is very protective, and some of them are also deflective, but none of the salts available will completely break any spell. So you will need to actively go out of your way to break a spell, hex, or a curse to completely get rid of it. And a cleansing bath, you know, will definitely reduce the effects and nullify the impact, but it will not completely remove it. You actively have to go out your way to magically remove a spell to get rid of it. Okay? So, just to cover, rock salt returns anything back to its sender or its source, it deflects and it protects, and of course it's cleansing. Red salt. Red salt is kind of like, this is my go-to salt for battle magic. This is the salt I want to use when I mean business and I really want to make an impact. So this is an extremely strong protective type of salt. It often comes in really dark blood reddy kind of colour, but it can range to a paler red as well, more like a cherryish colour. The reason it has this red colour is it contains large quantities of iron, and iron is also very protective, particularly works well against negative spirits, ghosts, demons, and of course repels bad fairies. So for those of you out there who believe in the alternate realms and do incorporate other magical beings in your magic, and you've had the misfortune to deal with perhaps a negative type of force out there, such as, bad fairies, spirits or ghosts invading your space, red salt will actually repel those things and keep them away from you. It offers a certain vibration they don't like, and because the iron in it, a lot of these forces can't stand being around salt and iron, and as it contains both, it's like, whoa, they're gonna back off and stay well away, which means it's really good for that. And of course it blocks all negative dark forces and helps repel negative spell work. So red salt is kind of like not one I have out on a regular basis, but if I really mean business, I know someone's worked against me or there's something really wrong happening in my space, that is the salt I break out, and I start mixing up that into my spells and of course into my salt bowl as well to help protect me. Pink salt. So pink Himalayan salt is absolutely amazing for all forms of love. So companionship, friendship, happiness, peace and tranquility, love and romance, all those positive energies come with pink Himalayan salt. So this is really popular to have in your home, particularly in the most well-used areas of the house, like the kitchen and the living room and of course the bedroom, because it's really good for bringing in those positive vibrations, offering love and tranquility, and of course quelling any arguments and reminding people of why they care about each other. It's also really good for reducing the impact of any curses, hexes and negative spell work done against you, and it offers protection and cleansing as always. Table salt. Table salt is my favourite and it's my go-to, and it's the one that I'll be using in this video, guys. Table salt is an all-purpose salt. It can be used for absolutely anything. It contains all of the qualities of the other salt but to smaller degrees. It's really good for cleansing, protection and healing. So definitely my go-to. I love the vibration. I love how smooth and gentle it is on my skin. It's obviously really fine like sand. It kind of looks a lot like sugar, but obviously isn't. And I like how I can draw patterns in it and I can draw sigils in it for my magical purposes. So it adds another layer to my salt bowl. So you can use your finger or a toothpick to draw sigils into the sand, to write petitions into the salty sand mixture. You can add crystals into it, herbs and oils, all the same way you can with all the other salts. But it just gives you an added layer that you can draw symbols and patterns into it as well, which is something I like to do for my salt bowls. And then the last salt is Epsom salt. So Epsom salt typically is used in baths to cleanse and purge your physical being of anything negative and help rebalance your chakras and your aura. So it's obviously very purifying, extremely cleansing. It offers a great way to reduce stress and anxiety. It's protective and it offers healing qualities as well. So that's the main types of salts that you can consider for your salt bowl, guys. Now I'm going to move into showing you the actual salt bowl, how I like to make mine, and I'm going to design this one, as I say, around springtime because we're about to leave winter and go into spring here in the United Kingdom. I will be offering you an incantation with this video, guys, so the incantation should be said after you set your intention, so I'll show you that during the last part of the video, and again I will show you the incantation. You can pause the video and add it to your book of shadows. So let's get to it, shall we? Hi guys, so this is my salt bowl. Before I jump into showing you how to make the spring mixture that I have in mind, I just thought I'd show you what your bowl could potentially look like plain with nothing in it. Now there's some of you out there that suffer with hay fever, or you don't like potpourri being in your house, or you can't stand the smell of essential oils or flowers in your home that really set you off. You don't have to have any of that, guys. You can have your bowl as plain as you want it to be. It's completely up to you. So this is a potential idea for what your bowl could look like plain. And as I mentioned in the first half of the video, table salt is my favourite salt to work with because it's soft and gentle and you can draw sigils and patterns into it. So this is obviously what I've drawn in mine, which is this nice spiral pattern. Now you could do any pattern or sigil you want, and you can obviously theme it based around whatever intentional purpose your salt bowl has. So, you know, if it's in dedication of a certain deity, for example, one of mine is Hecate, I could draw a key symbol in this. If it's for healing, I can, you know, draw a spiral pattern, or I could do a geometric pattern that follows a crystal grid. If it's for something like love, I could draw a heart. And if I want to embellish this without using herbs, I could use crystals or tea lights or jewellery instead. You can also add glitter into this if you want, and I am one of those witches that works with glitter. I know there's some out there that don't agree and, you know, think it's too modern, but I love working with glitter. It's, you know, I use it in my arts and crafts all the time. When I do work with glitter though, guys, I go out of my way to choose glitter that's biodegradable and environmentally friendly. I don't just pick any glitter. It's gotta be safe, because I bury a lot of the remains of my spells in special locations, and I want to know that it's going to be degraded in the environment naturally. It's not going to be harmful to any of my furry friends, but also, you know, to nature, because I work a lot with nature and I work a lot in my garden, so I want to make sure that all the energies there are positive and I'm not, you know, putting anything toxic into the ground. So you can add glitter into this, just be selective about the glitter you work with. Another way to layer your salt bowl is to rest them on charging plaques. So this is my charging plaque. As you can see, it's the Hecate's wheel. Now you can get these made out of all sorts of materials, ranging from wood, crystal, slate and stone. Some of them will come with patterns on already, or you can have them made with patterns on, like I have here, or you can have them plain. Now the beauty of buying something plain in wood, slate, stone is that you can draw or carve into them. So if you are lucky enough to have a carving kit, or you're quite skilled at crafts and design, you can put your own sigils and patterns into these. If you're not so skilled, then perhaps just go with a slate plate, because what you can do then is use chalk to chalk some symbols and sigils onto it and then rest your salt bowl on the top. So that's another way to add layers and energies into your salt bowl. But again, this is just embellishment and this is just extra, guys. You don't have to do any of this, but I just thought I'd show you. This is something I do and it's something I really like to do. Another idea is you can choose to work with photos and artwork as another form of symbology. So you could choose to get a photo or a picture off the internet that represents something like love to you, if your bowl's themed around love and positive energies of love, and then pop that in the middle and rest the bowl on the top. You could choose to have symbols of what represents a protected home to you, so maybe a security system or a well-fortified castle, something along those lines could be resting underneath. You could have a family picture underneath to represent the people you want the salt bowl to focus on the most and protect. So, you know, the sky's the limit, guys. Be as creative as you want to be. But this is certainly one of the ways I like to work with my salt bowl, and I certainly like to rest it on here. So now I'm going to show you how to do a spring salt bowl, and I have a couple of different ingredients that I'm going to pop in my bowl today. So one of the first ones I'm going to work with is cornflowers, and I've chosen to work with pink cornflowers today. Cornflowers are wonderful ingredients for self-love, all-round love, abundance, friendship, beauty and overall happiness. So it's a really good one for spring energies, and as it's pink, it makes me think quite a lot of spring. So I'm going to add that in. Another one is rose petals. Now rose petals are good for spring and summertime. I primarily use it summer, but it does offer some really nice energies, and of course, you know, it smells absolutely amazing. Oops, just going to flip that up there because I will be putting the tea light in there in a minute. Okay, now I have some rose buds here, and I'm going to add a couple of them into my mixture and my bowl. Just as another layer of growth and positivity. And then the last ingredient, I'm going to add in a little bit of sage. And I know that not everybody likes to work with sage, but I use the bare minimum of sage that I possibly can. Now, as you can see, I've drawn a sigil spiral pattern into this, and I chose to leave that, so I probably wouldn't mix this in, but you can get yourself a nice spoon and give this a good mix if you want to, or you can leave it with them resting on the top. It's completely up to you. I'm going to leave them resting on the top today. And then the last thing I'm going to do is pop a tea light in the centre and light it. So the tea light offers the element of fire into this. It helps draw in toxic energies to begin with, sucking them out of the room, and then when they're gone and purged, the salt will continue to act as a cleanser purifier as time goes on over the next 3 to 4 months during springtime. Now I can add a tea light each time, refreshing this, or I can change it up for a crystal once the tea light is burned down. Now, as this is on a bed of salt, salt generally doesn't burn, so you should be okay, and also it's in its frame, so it shouldn't go anywhere. But obviously if you do choose to work with a tea light, fire safety, don't leave it somewhere where you're not watching it. Make sure that you snuff it before you leave a room. As this is about purging, it's not an actual spell, you can blow it out, but because we've added herbs, you might blow away the salt and the herbs, so I would probably snuff it if I was you guys. So I'm now going to read out the spell and then I will show you the spell. So what you're going to want to do first of all is think about the intention for your bowl. So mine is springtime, so I'm concentrating on fresh new energies, a brand new beginning, birth, abundance, love and friendship, and of course about new projects, and I want to be imbued with all that positive energy for new projects. So that's what I'm going to focus on for a moment. So by doing that, I will put my hands over the bowl and I will think about my intention and my purpose and imbue my bowl with that quality. You only have to do this for a few minutes, guys, or a few seconds. It doesn't have to be long at all. And you should get a sense of when you felt you've done this enough, and then you can stop. Now I've done that, I'm going to read my activation. Now what I want to do is put my power hand that pushes energy out and activates spells over the top of this while I say it. So that is my right hand. For those of you who don't know what your power hand is, it's usually the hand you write with. If you can write with both hands, then it's the hand that you are most drawn to write with. That will be your power dominant hand. So for me, this is my right hand. So I'm now going to say the spell to activate my salt bowl. Salt of earth, protect this home while I'm here and when I roam. Keep it safe and all within. By powers of earth, my spell begins. As I will it, so shall it be. Blessed be. Here is the spell as promised, guys. So I recommend that you pause the video here and write it down and add it to your book of shadows. And that is it, guys. So obviously that spell works a lot on protection, but salt is protective and cleansing, so that's its main purpose. But obviously you can add to that spell with your intention at the beginning for whatever is the main focus of your bowl, which is exactly what I did. So that is it, guys. So I hope you really liked what I did today. As I say, all the ingredients I chose were mainly for springtime. In the description, I will add a list of items you can consider using for all the different seasons. And as the year goes on, I'll film a different video for each of the seasonal salt bowls that I'm choosing to make. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give me that thumbs up and let me know you liked it. Click the bell so YouTube will tell you when my next video comes out. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social media or book me for any spell work, you can do that through Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. If you'd like to add any love and light to this channel, you can do that through Patreon. And thank you very much to those who do support me through Patreon. I appreciate it. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Peace and love to you all, and I'll see you soon. Blessed be.